Now we head into the top 36 for senior Rotax. It's the pre-final on Sunday. Let's have a look at your starting grid here at Ostricourt. It's Kai Hunter and Lewis Gilbert on the front row of the grid. Behind them, they'll have Paul Fauquemin and Austin Lee. Vic Stevens and Ethan Jeff Hall will line up on row 3. Adam Mitch Hainert, Sverre Ubben, Jod van Wijk, and Kai Gillets, who completes the top 10. Tommy van der Stroys and Sean Butcher will line up on row 6 ahead of Dion van Werven, Jaden Teen, Luke Neeson, Montego Masson, Mathis Turlo, Simon Perigny, Lockie Robinson, and Thijs Dams, who completes the top 20. Lawrence Herbos, Kamal Mrad, Ivar Anagnostiidis, Scott Westhovens, Bram Ossevada, Kaz Boshaus, Matthias Flamand, Louis Grimaupont, Badr Al-Souleti from Qatar, Rune de Broeke, Spencer Braun, Buzz Janssen. And then we have got the 913, Theo Lemoigne, Ralph van der Pevert, Enzo Dickenberg, and Puck Gubbles bring up the rear of the field. Now we up the ante, now we up the stakes. It's 13 minutes plus an additional lap for this 36-strong field. So Kai Hunter at the moment is leading the way on a total of 110 points after the 3 heat victories that the driver from the Republic of Tyne-and-Wear, based in Sunderland in the United Kingdom. He's got Lewis Gilbert, his closest competitor, alongside as the drivers make their way out of the final corner. Revs rise, are we ready? It's a full start. Oh, the nerves are setting in, folks. So we go around again for another lap, another formation lap. So race starter not happy with how the field was lined up. And if they are not in the tram lines, if they are not fully bumper to bumper, then it's a case of they won't let them go straight away. So, second time of asking, 18 rows, 36 drivers going into the final corner. Revs now start to rise. We are lights out second time. Good start by Hunter as he leads the field into turn number 1. Fauquemin looks to get the early jump on Lewis Gilbert, but the Pride of Scotland holds his ground. Vic Stevens looking up the inside of Austin Lee as they head down into turn number 3. Austin Lee towards the outside. It's getting a bit too close for comfort. No one runs off the circuit, going onto the grass or kicking up the dust. As the drivers making their way through, Kamal Mrad looks to have made up a position. Sverre Ubben has made up a position. One of the OTK carts looks to be, that's Ethan Jeff Hall struggling a little bit. He's got Dion van Werven briefly to his outside as they make their way through the chicane up towards the top part of the top right-hand corner of the circuit. But leading the way, it is Kai Hunter, followed by Lewis Gilbert, Paul Fauquemin, then Vic Stevens, Mitch Hainert up into 5th place, and it looks to me, oh yes, I spot that both Sean Butcher hasn't put on the Sunday best at the minute, but Lockie Robinson has. Butcher looks to the inside of Kai Gillets. These two go into turn number 1. Rilletz doesn't lose just 1 place. I think he might have just lost 3. Rilletz to his inside has got... Oh, big moment there. That's Dion van Verven off the track. Does he keep it out of the barriers? Oh, that was heart in the mouth stuff there. I think Ethan Jeff Hall was on the inside and Dion van Verven. I'm going to say those 2 infamous words, code brown for the 377, but he managed to get back out onto the circuit. He dropped a big load of positions. It was just going to be a case, I think, just a little bit of contact. And then all of a sudden, Jeff Hall into the side of Van Verven, and then Van Verven straight off. Managed to slow all that significant forward travelling momentum and keep it out of the barriers. Sverre Ubben's got his elbows out. He's battling away with Kai Rilletz. And just behind them, they've got Jaden Thien and Tommy van der Stoys. And Lockie Robinson looking to the inside of Jaden Thien, going through into turn 1. Unable to get through, did the 326. As here is Butcher up the inside. That's on the 372 of Austin Lee. Nice move up there for 5th position for the Brits. Well, that could be more than likely 6th position because Mitch Haynert, this has been his best weekend so far this season for the TB Kart Netherlands posse. But Butcher has got time to chase him down. 10 minutes and 20 seconds plus an additional lap still remaining. At the minute, the top 10 is as follows. Kai Hunter leads the way ahead of Lewis Gilbert. Paul Forquemin in 3rd. Vic Stevens, Mitch Haynert. That is your top 5. Sean Butcher in 6th, so I'll call them as they come across the line. So Sean Butcher, Austin Lee, Jort van Wijk, Kai Rilletz and Sverre Ubben round out the top 10. Jaden Thien, Sverre Ubben, Lockie Robinson, Kamal Manad, Tommy van der Stoys, Ethan Jeff Hall, Matthijs Turlo. And look at the gaggle here. It's nearly 3-4 abreast going through into turn number 3. Sverre Ubben gets hung out to dry and he's been forced wide and he's off the circuit and bumping the rear axle, bumping up and down on the grass. Very, very lucky to keep out of the tyre barriers. But that just goes to show one move by someone being a little bit overzealous can cause a chain reaction. Now, Rilletz is closing in on Austin Lee. This is going to be a battle for what is 7th position. But at the front of the field, we still have Hunter, Gilbert. Vic Stevens now has got past Dams Racing teammates Paul Forquemin. Haynert in 5th. Sverre Ubben has dropped all the way outside of the top 20. Days Dams completes the top 20 at the moment. Ethan Jeff Hall completes the top 15. And there is the 333 of Jort van Wijk round the outside of Austin Lee through into turn number 4. He's not going to make it through 5. He held onto it and he caught the right rear wheel onto the grass and the dust on the outskirts of the corner whilst trying to go round the outside of Austin Lee. It was bold, it was brave, but it didn't quite work out. A little bit further back, Lockie Robinson really battling away. There's Kamal Murad and Ethan Jeff Hall right on his 6. With 8 minutes and 15 seconds still to go. There's still plenty to play for at the moment. Buzz Janssen all the way down in stone dead last, I believe. Well, I might not even, well, he's pulled it into the pits. Well, he might be out, so Buzz Janssen, his race comes to a premature end. A bit further back, Jort van Wijk has got Jaden Thien just behind him, but look at this. Oh my goodness me, Lockie Robinson's leading the train. There's the 915, Simon Perigny trying to get through on the 348 of Kamal Mrad. Luke Neeson is at the front of that train. Matthijs Tolo is there, Montego Marsen along with them, plus Taze Dams. Oh, Matthijs Tolo up the inside of Perigny. Marsen gets through. Oh, this is going to be close. Anagnostiadis, she's just behind them as well, looking to get back up into the top 20. Dion van Verven is a little bit further back, but that's the other CRG privateer on this grid. Spencer Brougham has had to have a new engine during yesterday. But with 7 minutes to go, plus an additional lap, Rilletz has got through on Butcher for 6th. There's Jaden Thien. This is the battle for what is now 8th place. And Jort van Wijk was very squirrely under braking. Austin Lee could have had the opportunity up the inside of turn number 3, just behind them. There's both the pairing of Laurens Herbols and Tommy van der Stroys. So we will see whether any positional changes, they're sure to come very, very soon. Kai Hunter leads the way by a 2.5 seconds ahead of Lewis Gilbert. Yeah, looking pretty good for starting on the front row of the grid for the last final of the weekend, which takes place at 3 p.m. local time, so in just over an hour and a half. So lap 7 completed. Kai Hunter puts in a 57.143. In the meantime, Mitch Haynert has got right up his backside and his exhaust. Kai Rillerts. Rillerts is on an absolute flyer. Now through into 5th goes the 374, the reigning and defending champion. It's not been an easy opening 2 rounds, but this could be where he makes up the difference. He got to 10th place in the ranking after heats yesterday, after a dismal qualifying session where he suffered with engine power troubles. And at every single race, he made at least double digits when it came to positional increases on the grid, starting from either 19th or 20th. A little bit further behind, Tommy van der Stroys has got Austin Lee right behind him. And Austin Lee was looking very, very close indeed to setting it up the inside. Hunter leads still after 8 laps. 2.1 seconds between him and Lewis Gilbert, and another fastest lap. Kai Hunter looking to expand that success rate of 100% to 4 out of 5 races so far. There's just the final left to go after this one. We still have 5 minutes remaining as Buzz Janssen retires on lap number 3. We're on lap number 9, and there are your drivers in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Lewis Gilbert versus Vic Stevens and Paul Fokwemin. So Scotland, it sounds like the FIFA World Cup, doesn't it? Scotland versus Belgium versus France, but in karting form, to use a football analogy. But Kai Hunter just doing what he needs to do, keeping that gap at an easy, consistent pace. Just lifted off the throttle ever so slightly, but he was still faster and probably still had waft to spare, as he was just over 1/10 of a second quicker than Lewis Gilbert on that previous tour. René de Bruyker has unfortunately dropped down to 28th position. Eva Anagnostiidis, she's now gotten up to 19th position, so she's in the bottom part of the top 20. She was running in the top 10 yesterday, but unfortunately her 3rd heat. Oh, that's a nice little move there. Tommy van der Stroys neatly through on Jort van Wijk as they go through into the chicane. Just behind them, they have got Laurens Herbols, who's managed to get past Austin Lee. Not too sure what's occurring with Austin in this race. Been fighting at the sharp end of the field, but in this race, whether he's picked up a little bit of damage or whether there's an issue with the kart holding him back, but I would think that Austin, very, very solid driver. 2020 Rotax Max Challenge Germany Minimax champion. Booked his place for Team Germany, and unfortunately that was the year when the grand finals were rescheduled from Bahrain to Portimao and then got altogether cancelled, as Montego Masson has got Australia's Eva Anagnostiidis just behind him. So Eva has proved this weekend that she can fight at the sharp end of the grid. Looking forward to seeing how her progress goes on, not just today, but also in future rounds of the BNL Karting Series and possibly the Euro Trophy. And, a lot of learning to take on board, and so is her younger brother James when they joined the stable at Dan Holland Racing. Lap 11 now completed, and the lead now is nearly 2.5 seconds behind Kai Hunter and Lewis Gilbert in this Senior Rotax Top 36 pre-final. As there's now a move by Sean Butcher on Mitch Haynert. That is a change for 6th position. So Butcher has just got to do as much damage limitation as humanly possible. So coming down to the final few moments of this pre-final here in the top 36 for senior road tax. And Kai Hunter still starting to calmly and coolly extend that lead again. It's now 2.655 seconds between him and Lewis Gilbert. And Kai Rillet's now really putting himself in the opportune ringside seat for the final later on. He's currently 5th at the minute and he's 8 tenths behind Paul Forquemin. Rillet's last time around was over 3 tenths of a second quicker than the Frenchman running with Dams Racing. But Mitch Hayner is keeping pace with Sean Butcher at the moment as we head into what is now going to be the penultimate lap of the race. Lap 14 out of 15 completed. And Lewis Gilbert and Vic Stevens are pretty much running very closely together in terms of the lap times that they are setting. 57.2s by the pair of them, but Gilbert fractionally faster. And here comes a little bit of a skirmish. Oh, Dion van Verven slots right in between Thijs Dams and Eva Anagnostiidis, the Australian trying to get through on the Dutchman. And a little bit further back, well, there is Vic Stevens. Paul Forquemin has lost 4th. Rillet's caught him up and got past him. Timer has now expired as our race leader very shortly will head into the final corner here at this 1,450 metre circuit in northern France. Kai Hunter, just 1.4 kilometres away from continuing his 100% success rate. Gilbert 2nd, Stevens 3rd. Rillet started 10th, now in 4th position. Forquemin, Butcher, Hayner, Teen, Van der Stroys, Herbols. That rounds out your top 10. Jod van Wyk, Austin Lee, Ethan Jeff Hall, Lachlan Robinson and Kamal Menard round out the top 10, the top 15. Dion van Verven completes the top 20. Just outside it is Eva Anagnostiidis. Rune de Broek is going to be the last casualty before the checker flag comes out. The 9.11, unfortunately retiring on lap number 12. But Sunderland's finest, once again, is on top form. Out of the final corner, it's 4 in a row. Kai Hunter continues his winning streak here at Racing Kart JPR in Austricourt, winning by nearly 3 seconds ahead of the pride of Scotland, Lewis Gilbert. Vic Stevens, Kai Rillet's from 10th to 4th on the grid. Paul Forquemin rounds out the top 5 ahead of Sean Butcher. Mitch Hayner, Jaden Teen, Tommy van der Stroys and Lawrence Herbols rounding out the top 10. Jod van Wyk, Austin Lee, Ethan Jeff Hall, Kamal Menard, Lockie Robinson, Luke Neeson, Matty Serlo, Simon Perigny, Dion van Verven and Thijs Dams complete the top 20. Rounding out the top 30, Eva Anagnostiidis, Montego Masson, Kaz Boshouse, Scott Westhovens, Bader Al-Suleti from Qatar in 25th, ahead of Spencer Perron, Sverre Ubben, Pat Gubbles, Ralph van der Pavert and Louis Grimopont rounding out the top 20. Bram Ossevada, Enzo Dickenberg, Matthias Flamand and Theo Lemoigne rounding out the top 34 that all finished the race. Rune de Broek retiring on lap 12 and Buzz Janssen retiring on lap number 3.